Learn how to use the window history back method to navigate the browser to the previous page in the user session history. Let's look at an example together of how you can utilize the window history method to craft going backwards. In the window history object, that is, when we are talking about the window history object, we are talking about everything that is contained on a web page. So it keeps a record of the web pages visited in the current browser tab. So the back method acts exactly like clicking the physical back arrow button at the top of your web browser. So what does that mean? Look at this arrow that you can see here. This is a physical back arrow. So I can easily click this and then it will take me back to my previous web page, my previous history that was on this particular tab. And I can also click it forward and it will take me back to where I was before. Now, instead of using this physical back arrow, we now want to use a method that can also achieve the same thing as clicking on that back arrow. And that is what we want to look at in this example. So let's move into our script parts and make a function. Let the name reflect what we are about to do. Let's call it go back. That's parameters, and inside that function, you can just put window dot history dot back, and this way we have successfully made our function. So now that we have the function, you can see that nothing is displaying here. We need a way to be able to test it. So let me just come inside my code demo here, which happens to code output, which happens to correspond to this. And inside it, I'm just going to add a simple button. So the input type is button. Then I'll give it an ID of ETN to make it look fine, because I have a style for that already. And then I will have a value for it, and that value is going to be pack. And I'll add another property called onClick. So this onClick will run my function such that once it is clicked, then it will run this function, and then you'll be able to see what happens next. So this is it. So I'll go ahead now and I'll click on this button. And now you can see that immediately I click on that button, it worked the way the physical back button worked that I tried the other time. So in this way, we were able to use the back button to trigger a JavaScript function that immediately commands the browser to step backward one page in its browsing history log. So look at what we have here. We have this onClick, which is equals to go back. So this listening for a click event on the input button, and immediately it calls the go back function once it detects a click event. And then we also have window.history.back. So this tells the browser to look up the immediately preceding URL in the tab's internal history stack and then load it. So the window.history.back method replicates the native browser back button behavior programmatically. So it's more or less like clicking on this physical arrow backward. So that is what it's just replicated for us, as we can see in this example. And also, for strict privacy and security reasons, JavaScript can move the user through their history, but can never read the actual URL text store inside the history object. So due to security reasons, there are some constraints that usually happen with this method, the back method, so that JavaScript can protect some sensitive information. So now let's talk about key takeaways from what we just did in this example. So I'll go back and then click it again to let you see how it works again. The window.history.back method replicates native browser back button behavior programmatically. And lastly, you can write this method as just history.back without the window object prefix to get the exact same result. So I can as well do something like this. I will remove Windows history.back, and if I go back and still click on it, it will still work and get me the exact same result. So the summary of this example is that with the back method, we can as well replicate the physical back arrow that the browser provides.